Hey guys and gals of YouTube, how y'all doing? Dave Wood here. We're going to talk about LEGO Mars Mission Set 7647, also known as the MX-41 Switchfighter. This particular set is from 2008. Mars Mission was released in 2007 and runs through, some say 2009, some say 2008. It seems for sure 2008, and there was a slight change up. For one thing, these sets always had like two forces, kind of getting two for one. Opposing force, and on that it's kind of curious, I found, because the Mars aliens are not Martians, they're from some other planet in the storyline, and of course the astronauts are from Earth, so you have two xenoforms fighting over property that's actually belongs to someone else. Okay, the MX-1. Now, one thing curious about the line from this Mars mission, that not all sets, but wherever there's some sort of a number on a vehicle or possibly a missile launcher, the number of the set is what's used there, 7647. It's kind of a cool way. Now, these are a lot of stickers on here, which I've been watching me for at all. You know I don't care for stickers. I don't like stickers at all. But if you're going through a bulk lot and you were to find those stickers, you'd know that you're looking at a Mars set. Also, a little cool throwback to the classic space symbol. And yeah, definitely a throwback. That's pretty cool. Unique sticker on the back here. It almost seems to show instructions on how to use this. It's kind of interesting. This piece is on the front, these wing pieces. I found myself being silly, pretending that maybe that was like a single tooth or something, but it makes a little bit of sense. It has a little flick fires on top here, which you remember how those work. They actually work pretty good. They work better if you have like a little launcher, but these are not bad. They're pretty stiff though. Okay, a lot of sticker detail. Little wings come up, and this is the correct directional. Sometimes on eBay they'll be backwards. These little bomblets are kind of cool. They just clip in here, so that's kind of fun. It's an interesting design. It uses that wine bottle, the wine glass. Now, one thing right away we're going to be a little bit critical of, well, before we get to that, the function of this, because it is a land vehicle, let's roll that down. Is that it's called a changer because you got these towels here on the bottom, and so these break loose from these clip points here, bring it up like so, and creates these wings. So I guess the wheels now become the engines. If I look like I'm struggling to hold a straight face, I am a little bit, but it's not a bad build. I think it's interesting, and a lot of the criticism that's toward Mars Mission is that the sets look cheap. They look like they just threw them together. There's some argument that I think is valid. And if you consider the era, 2007, 2008, that's Star Wars, Clone Wars era. I really think that LEGO was busy doing a licensed theme and didn't have a whole lot of time with something like this. One of the cool features, or maybe dark features, is this Technic pin you pull out here in the back, which is interesting because it actually holds this in. This little tube here holds these little gems that ostensibly everyone is fighting over. Curiously enough, these appear throughout the vehicle. In fact, yeah, there's actually one kind of hidden on this one up underneath here. You really can't see it. It's actually up underneath here. You can probably see it a little bit there. But all the vehicles seem to have some way of holding one of these gems. Now, what's kind of dark about this, I think, if we remove the gems here, we have this post. And here's one of the alien figures. You can actually literally impale him in there and stick him on there. Now, he's not being restrained. He's in some sort of, it's just a sled. There's no glass or anything. He just slides in here. Now, is he being used for a fuel source? Is he being harvested? Because I just find that interesting, and I just think it's interesting that LEGO designed, because they obviously designed it this way, but they also put the pegs there for the little crystals. So, which is it? Also, it's 2008. So, we're a year into the established storyline by LEGO. Another thing I found curious, and I don't think it's an accident, is the hole in the front of his chest is, such and such. This thing sticks out. But the hole in the back is wider and actually allows us to sink in a little bit further. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just maybe I'm bored. Maybe the result of somebody at my age playing with toys. Maybe that's what happens. I don't know. One part of criticism is the astronaut. Big criticism, actually. This is very cool, very flat and very aerodynamic. It's actually kind of tough opening it. Look how thin that, and also it's got the hinge point. That. Here's the problem. He can't sit upright. He can't even hold this. Looks like a motorcycle controller or something. And he's in there. I mean, I gotta really stick him in there. He has the astronauts are interesting. They don't have a regular backpack. It's all printed detail. The heads also are reused from other sets. It's like they just put the visors on. They probably should just put black studs if they're going to do it that way. So I was looking at the set as I was assembling it, and I'm like, okay, I'll just go ahead and fold them up, put them like so. Huh. Okay. Well, lay him back a little bit. Just and so like this, and his head hits. So I literally have to squeeze him in underneath here, manipulate his arms, kind of mash him in there, and then it closes. So you can't reach the controllers. You can't really do much. But it's a kind of an interesting vehicle, and I think that what we need to see here is this is Lego maybe making like a little bit of a Transformers vehicle. They're trying to hit a couple of different things. The wheel use is interesting, but these are all old parts. This is a neat mold here. This one big piece here, though. But I think it's actually pretty cool. I like the colors of it, and the storyline is interesting. Here we go to the storyline. We're talking way too much. This has got an interesting factory defect. This one I thought was just bent, but it's actually molded wrong. So that's fun. These stickers were put on by somebody the wrong way. This end should be up on this one. I could remove it and try to reattach it. But this is that black stuff, and it tends to get all wrinkled looking. So I'm probably just going to leave it. Besides that, it's got one other major issue. This side here is missing. They had the wrong part. This piece here. Kind of a cool Technic piece in its own right, but it was wrong. So I have one on order coming from France. And that's when I'll be here. Hopefully I'll still be looking at Mars mission when it comes in. Here's a gemstone on this one. It goes in front here. It's supposed to be upright in the instructions, but there's not much to hold it up there. The cockpit, if you want to call it that, is interesting. It's hinged, so you raise it up. There it is. It's kind of cool. And this Martian kind of stays in here with this alien here. And the reason is, I just broke it. That's easier to look at now. We use this clip piece here. And this is the actual instructions that come in this set. I just broke it again. Interesting. All right. His instructions say take this clip piece and literally stick it through them. And then stick them in here. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And he sits in there really nice. He gets stuck in there. Now, look at the way these pieces, I know that we're looking at trans neon green, and there's no control. There's no printed controls. His arms, nothing is there. And you can say, oh, that's just because it's a toy, David, but is he plugged into the machine? Is that why it has that plug-in through his hole? I think it might be. Anyways, the storyline is these aliens have to get these crystals and recharge for their own world. Astronauts from Earth are there doing basically the same thing. So what we have here is we have, Earth is right there, relatively, so to speak. So by the 2008, you got way more sats from Earth vehicles, whereas you can't really change the Martian ships because these probably came on the mothership, as it's referred to in the sets. So you'd be limited to this designs and probably just flyers. Although you have to have some kind of terrestrial vehicles for mining, right? But anyways, I digress. This is a great opportunity for army building. You can literally build one after another, and it would actually be supported by the story, whereas you could mock out different versions showing a technological advancements in the astronauts. So that actually works really good. Anyways, I think it's an exciting set. I definitely think it's more like a toy rather than a building block style that we're used to in Lego, and I think it took some heat for that. But you got to give it to Lego for branching out and trying to keep it relevant. I do like the use of the green. It is very cool, and actually I like the look of this ship. I really hate the fact this is missing there. Let's look at it from this side. Ah, that's better. But I think this is kind of ingenious. I don't know. Would we have wanted Lego to make a whole bunch of Transformer-ish style Legos? Not think about the actual Transformers they make, but like Optimus Prime. But I don't know. Would that have been a good way to go? This is a very unique piece here. I've never seen that one before out of this set. Actually, I've never seen this piece before either, which is a wrong piece. Doesn't seem to have any numbers on it, but Technic pieces are hard to find numbers sometimes. It's kind of unique. Like I said, it's an interesting piece. But anyways, let me know what you think, though. 7647 and the whole line of Mars. I mean, eventually, before the set was done, they would replace these with a very impressive commander type figure. I do like this. It's interesting that his red eyes are used from this stud in the back, which is kind of curious. Okay, it's gonna be that way. It's gonna be difficult. It's literally just a stud, right? Just a 1x1. And that's kind of interesting, I think. Also, this whole hollow back, everything reminds me of the battle droids, which has been something I was always a little bit critical of. But that's kind of interesting, making the red eyes, I think. I don't know. What y'all think? I think that what's consistent is the way things are done in the Mars line. And if there's a criticism that can be supported, I think it's very simple. I literally feel that their attention was separated. And they just weren't, they were concentrating on Star Wars. Anyways, appreciate the views out there. We'll leave this. So this is, hopefully it's a thumbnail. It's definitely I think, a very good looking little ship. Very interesting little design. And I like the green flames. I like this opening part too. It's pretty cool. Till next time, y'all stay safe. Ciao.